Welcome to Mini Mind Hack, a place where psychology and philosophy meet literature and sociology. Today we step into the fascinating and controversial world of Rupert Sheldrake, a biologist whose theory of morphic resonance has inspired both curiosity and criticism. This episode is part of The Edge of Science, a series that explores ideas sitting right on the border between science and mystery. If you stay with me until the end, you'll understand not only what morphic resonance actually is, but why it's fascinated both scientists and spiritual seekers. And maybe what it says about our deep human need for connection in a disconnected world. Rupert Sheldrake, born in 1942 in England, trained as a biochemist and cell biologist at Cambridge. Early on, he was a completely conventional scientist, studying how plants take shape, the mystery known as morphogenesis. His work was solid, respected, even took him to Harvard. But in the early 1980s, Sheldrake made a move that turned the scientific world upside down. He proposed that nature has memory. He called his idea morphic resonance. According to him, everything in the universe, atoms, plants, animals, societies, draws on a kind of collective memory formed by all similar things that came before. Once something happens, it becomes easier for it to happen again, not just for one individual, but for the species as a whole. He said that the universe remembers, not like a brain or a computer, but through invisible morphic fields, patterns that store how things have behaved or formed in the past. Imagine scientists creating a brand new type of crystal. The first time, it's difficult. The molecules don't yet know the pattern. But once that structure exists, it leaves an imprint in the morphic field, like writing a new file into nature's memory. Then, when someone else tries to make the same crystal on the other side of the world, it forms more easily, as if the universe itself remembers how it's done. Sheldrake said these morphic fields don't push or pull like gravity. They inform. They shape things the way blueprints guide a building. The more often something happens, the stronger its pattern becomes, making repetition faster and easier, like practice, but written into the fabric of reality itself. He first saw hints of this while studying plants. In normal biology, a plant's form is said to come purely from DNA, chemical instructions. But cells with the same DNA can become totally different parts of the plant: roots, petals, stems. So how do they know where to go or what to become? Sheldrake suggested that each plant species tunes into a morphic field that carries the memory of its form. The field doesn't create matter, it shapes it. Like an invisible mold whispering to each cell, "You belong here. Grow this way." That's why, he argued, a daisy always becomes a daisy, not just because of chemistry, but because it resonates with the memory of daisiness itself. Then came the famous rat maze studies. In one lab, rats were trained to navigate a maze. As expected, they got faster over time. But strangely, when rats in other labs, even on other continents, were tested on the same maze, they seemed to learn it faster too. Sheldrake saw this as evidence of morphic resonance, that once a behavior is learned, the memory of it becomes part of a shared field accessible to all members of the species. Critics, of course, weren't buying it. They said the experiments were sloppy, that small differences in maze design or handling could explain the results. No mysterious field required, just human error and coincidence. Still, the question refused to die, because even if the data were imperfect, the idea itself was bold. What if memory, learning, and even evolution aren't limited to genes, but shaped by a deeper, shared resonance of nature itself? Mainstream scientists reacted strongly against these claims. The journal Nature famously described his 1981 book, A New Science of Life, as a candidate for burning, which shows how provocative his theory was to the scientific establishment. The main criticism was that morphic resonance lacked empirical evidence and did not fit within accepted biological or physical frameworks. Sheldrake conducted some experiments to test his ideas, such as studies on whether people can sense being stared at or whether pets can anticipate their owners returning home. But results have remained controversial and often inconclusive. Despite the skepticism, Sheldrake's ideas gained a powerful foothold in spiritual and New Age communities. His language of fields and resonance resonated with those who were already interested in holistic views of life, energy healing, or interconnected consciousness. In these circles, the idea of morphogenetic fields is often used to explain collective meditation effects, ancestral memory, or even concepts like the Akashic records. Authors and teachers in alternative spirituality sometimes reference Sheldrake directly, or at least borrow his vocabulary to give scientific legitimacy to mystical traditions. These ideas spread through culture like light across water. Pause with me as we ask what draws people to visions of connection beyond measurement. It is also worth noting that the word resonance itself appears in many traditions. In Buddhism, for example, teachings about interdependence and the interconnected nature of all beings echo the metaphor of resonance, although without suggesting a scientific mechanism like Sheldrake does. In modern psychology, Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious also carries a family resemblance, even though Jung spoke in symbolic and archetypal terms rather than biological fields. Across traditions, echoes hint at shared patterns. We feel those patterns in everyday ties, hands meeting, small communities forming, meaning made together. This leads us to the sociological side of the story. Why have ideas like morphic resonance, even if unproven, become so attractive in modern culture? One answer lies in the erosion of traditional community structures. In earlier times, people found meaning and belonging in religion, family, or local communities. Today, in a world shaped by individualism, mobility, and fragmented social ties, many people feel deeply disconnected. It's what the sociologist Max Weber warned about more than a century ago, what he called the disenchantment of the world. Weber, one of the founders of modern sociology, argued that as science and rationality replaced religion and myth, the world lost its sense of mystery and meaning. Everything became explainable, measurable, predictable, but also hollow. We gained knowledge, but we lost wonder. We became experts at analyzing the world, yet strangers to it. The idea of an invisible field connecting us all speaks directly to this hunger for belonging. It offers a symbolic reassurance. You are not isolated. You are part of a greater web of resonance. In cities and screens, we still search for belonging. Sociologists point out that this cultural need for connection often gets expressed in spiritual or holistic language when conventional institutions fail to provide it. The popularity of Sheldrake's ideas in New Age movements is not only about science, it is about community, meaning, and the search for identity in a globalized, uncertain world. Even if morphic resonance remains scientifically unverified, it functions as a cultural narrative that helps people imagine themselves as part of something larger. Hold that thought. Stories connect us as much as facts. So what can we take away from all this? On the one hand, Rupert Sheldrake challenges us to think beyond the boundaries of orthodox science, reminding us that there are mysteries in nature we cannot yet explain. On the other hand, we must be cautious not to confuse metaphor with evidence. Morphic resonance might not be a proven law of biology, but its popularity shows us something real about human society: our deep yearning for connection, memory, and continuity. And that is why this topic matters, because whether or not morphic fields exist in the way Sheldrake imagined, the very fact that so many people embrace them tells us a profound truth about ourselves. that in an age of fragmentation, we long to feel part of a larger whole. Let the question rest: what truly binds us? Perhaps it is attention, care, and memory lived. Carry curiosity forward, test ideas, keep compassion close. Thank you for watching. If this sparked your curiosity, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay with our community of critical and curious minds. In the description, or in the comment below, you'll find a list of books and studies, either the ones I drew from, or good ones for deeper exploration. I look forward to seeing you next time.